Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the meeting between the former President Uhuru Kenyatta and President William Ruto, according to our sources, was supposed to bring in some key Central Kenya leaders into government. And some of the key Central Kenya leaders that were to be brought into government to take up CS cabinet positions and PS positions were or are very close confidants of the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And according to the Star newspaper, they've named some of the key politicians who are to take up those positions. And some of the names that have been mentioned here are the likes of former Cabinet Secretary for Health, Mutahi Kagwe. We have Gachagua, who is the former Laikipia governor. We have Mohoho, who they are claiming is set to get a CS position. And they are saying maybe Ruto's number 2 position. And then there is Nderitu and Kibicho as well. And according to sources, they were to be named today, but that has not come to pass. We still have some hours to go. So maybe within this week or next week, early next week, that can happen, because there's a cabinet reshuffle which was to happen as well. But the question is, why I've stated that Mount Kenya common men have rejected President Ruto's overtures. One person that made a serious comment that got me thinking was a guy that I follow religiously. Is called Wahome. Wahome asked a very mind-boggling question. He said that former President Uhuru Kenyatta is still perceived as the Mount Kenya kingpin. And heading to 2022 general elections, or 2022 general elections, when former President Kenyatta was still the president, he went to Mount Kenya and told them that President William Ruto is not a good man politically and was not fit to become the president. So that was his stand then. And then he asked another question, is that what is it that the former president is going to tell Mount Kenya region to make them now endear themselves to the current president, who is William Ruto? So his argument was, if the former president told them that William Ruto was not good, and according to what has happened in this government so far in the last 2 years, there's nothing positive that can make them change their minds to now start supporting President William Ruto. So now, after this happened, I talked to a friend of mine known as John Duku. John Duku has been my friend for over 10 years now. And most of the time we do politics together. We discuss politics without emotions. And he was giving me an example of the last general election, which was 2022. So John Duku was telling me that, heading to 2022, he told me that Mount Kenya region had moved on and they were not going to, majority of them were not going to support Raila Odinga, just because they thought that the former president Uhuru Kenyatta had messed up the economy. So for them, the economy was key. And we did even bet. And unfortunately, I lost my bet. So when we're discussing this, he told me that what is happening right now is that Mount Kenya voters have moved on away from President Ruto. And for him, he was saying that whatever is happening right now, where the voters have moved to, that is where majority of Mount Kenya leaders will have to follow. And I was still like ish. But looking at the response, when I posted a video yesterday, looking at the response of some of my fans who have subscribed to this YouTube channel, they gave the they supported the very comments that Duku gave me. Like one of them, let me just sample a few of them. Some commented in Kikuyu. One of them, at Ann Ferguson 1158, commented, Kikuyus are independent. They don't follow their leaders, which is almost similar to what John Duku told me. Then I also went online just to sample a few comments. I went to Kenyans.com. Kenyans.com posted Moses Kuria's tweet. Moses Kuria, after former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto met, he also tweeted yesterday and he talked about, I quote, he said that the frequent handshakes and artificial formations have vindicated Uhuru and Raila on the BBI initiative. They were right and we were wrong. I urge Ruto, Uhuru and Raila to close ranks and lead the nation in picking up from where BBI flopped and give this country a constitution that speaks to the emerging realities of our nation and our society. BBI 2 is urgent and cannot wait. So Moses Kuria in his tweet as well talked about Mount Kenya leaders or political leaders moving out of UDA to join Jubilee. So I asked myself, why would someone who is an advisor to the president talk about encouraging political leaders from Mount Kenya to move from UDA, which is the governing party, to another party, Jubilee, which was in Azimio? My conclusion is that whatever I was being told, which is Mount Kenya electorate moving to another direction, has now been confirmed by Moses Kuria. But the fear that is with the political class is that Rigathi Gachagua sometimes back talked about coming up with a political party in January, and that party is what he was trying to use to mobilize the electorate in central Kenya, so that come 2027 they can use that as a political party that they can use to now form coalitions with other parties from different regions. So the fear in the government right now is that Rigathi Gachagua might upstage them or might outdo them and win the hearts of the electorates from central Kenya. So that is why Moses Kuria and those advisors around President William Ruto are thinking of extending an olive branch to the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, use Jubilee as a party that they are going to use to galvanize political support within central Kenya, and use that party now to negotiate for positions and political positions with President William Ruto. Said that going to 2027 they will form an alliance or a coalition based on numbers heading to 2027. So they'll use Jubilee Party to galvanize central Kenya. But going back to my first point, which was rejection. So if you look at the feedback that some of the guys who are online were giving on the Kenya.com's Facebook page, I just want to read a few of them. There's Ken Juguna who talks about, he has said, so he's asking Moses Kuria, so that's what's urgent to you. Education, healthcare, development is no longer urgent to you. Kweli tulikosea. Mwingine anasema, this government is always wrong in everything they do. Someone known as Sospita Wachira talked about Samuel Njuguna says, Mr. Advisor, your boss is on a free fall. He left the ground and the ground shifted. There is nothing that he can do to win in 2027. He has lost it and he knows it. There's another comment from Joseph Gishui. He says, you are wrong this time. Ruto, Raila, Uhuru can't bring anything that can help the people in this country. So, to sum it all, it means that whatever was being coined as a handshake between Ruto and the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, that they thought was going to create like a political kind of excitement within central Kenya, is backfiring. It has not been received with the excitement that they thought. And I think former President Uhuru Kenyatta might also be weighing options, because he thought that this was going to create a lot of excitement within central Kenya. But we want to wait and see how, if those leaders that have been mentioned by the Star newspaper, if they are appointed into government, would want to see the political ramification, or if it will create excitement within central Kenya. But so far, from the response that I've seen online, it's like that handshake has been rejected by people from central Kenya. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. You can give me your feedback by commenting on the video down below, so that in our subsequent videos we can sample some of your comments and feedback, and then so that we keep this debate going. But if you're new here, kindly hit on that subscribe button and the notification bell down below, so that we can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye bye.